Yeah, you'll bowl one frame, Chad. And then you alternate two.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody here to the Bowl Mart as we get ready for the King of the Hill finals. First on the lane is Chad Duel, and he gets 7 pins on his first ball. This year's King of the Hill tournament had 28 entries, and the top 5 qualified. Chad Duel finishing 5th. He's bowling against Chris Stalker, who finished 4th. As Chad goes and gets his spare, Chad's average is 153, so he's getting 51 pins of handicap. While Chris Stalker has a 176 average. He's getting 30 pins. So Chris is giving Chad 21 pins this game. As Chris throws his first frame on lane 13 and he gets a strike. On behalf of myself and the Ross's Point Bowling Association, I'd like to thank Calvin Castine and Hometown Cable for coming to videotape the King of the Hill again this year. As Chris will throw a second frame on lane 14, he crosses over and gets another strike. So 2 Brooklyn strikes for Chris as he doubles up. And now Chad will be on lane 13, bowling his second frame. Top qualifier today was Tony Patry. Second was Vinnie Jarvis. Third was Guerin. And of course, 4 and 5 are bowling right here. As Chad Duel on lane 13 throws his first ball, gets 7 pins, leaving the 2-4-8. The winner of this game will bowl against Tony Patry. The next game you're going to see here after this match will be between Vinnie Jarvis and Guerin. Chad goes for his spare and he picks it up. Now Chad will be on lane 14 to bowl his third frame. Okay, Chad on lane 14 gets 8 pins. The loser of this match will receive $50 for finishing 5th place. The winner will move on, of course, to bowl against Tony Patry.
One good game today.
As Chad will go for his double wood spare, the 2-8. And he hooks it in there and picks it up. So he's off to 3 spares to start his game. Again, he's getting 21 pins from Chris Stalker, who's up on lane 13.
Amazingly,
Yeah, as he puts his ball in the pocket a little high, leaving the 4 pin. Chris bowls in the Monday night men's Wyeth League. And Chad Duel bowls in the Tuesday night league at 6 o'clock. As Chris goes for his spare and he'll pick it up. So after 2 completed frames, and they're both working on spares in their third, Chris has made up 14 of the 21 pins, so it's a 7-pin lead for Chad Duel after 2 completed frames. Again, they're both working on spares in the third. As Chris will be up on lane 14, working on a spare. And a little high in the head pin, leaving the 7-10 split. We'll see if we can finally get this picked up on TV. As Chris is really just going to try to get 1 pin here. Give him some count. And he misses them both. So he gets 8 for the frame. He's got 75 after 4 frames. Chad Duel on lane 13. Pulled his ball to the left a little bit. And he gets 6 pins in his first ball, leaving the 1, 3, 6, 9. So after 3 completed frames, Chris Stocker has picked up 16 pins. So he's trailing by 5, but he's open in the 4th. And Chad Duel will go for his spare here in the 4th frame. And he gets 3 of the 4. So that gives him 60 after 4 frames. And so Chris Stocker has picked up 15 pins so far. He's down 6 pins. As Chad will bowl his 5th frame. As Chad puts his ball in the lane, comes back in the pocket, and he gets his first strike of the game. Chris Stocker up on lane 13, puts his ball right in the pocket, and he gets a strike. So they both strike in the 5th frame. So that's still a 6-pin lead for Chad Duel.
Where's your towel, Chad?
Chris Stocker working on a strike.
You should have just bowled on my lane. You would definitely got the top line.
On lane 14, and he pulls his ball to the left. Gets 7 pins, leaving the 2-4-5, or 2-5-6, excuse me.
Every time he bowls against Jeremy, but it's 700.
No, I don't even know you did that one.
Well, you hit one of the other like a 680 or something.
No, I came in the next week and had those over shit.
As Chris will go for his spare, and he pulled it a little, getting 2 of the 3 pins, so he gets 9 for the frame. He has a 103 after 6 frames. Chad Duel will be on lane 13 working on a strike. Again, you're watching the 2003-2004 King of the Hill here at the Bowl Mart. As Chad on a strike, comes up a little light, leaves the 5-8. Okay, as Chad will go for his spare on lane 13. They have a lane problem on lane 14 they'll have to go down and fix. And Chad gets his spare. So that gives him 80 after 5. And he's working on his spare, so he's almost up his 21 pins again. Again, you're watching the King of the Hill, the Ladies Queen of the Hill. Will be coming May 14th here at the Bowl Mart. As they had a pin down, so got to reset his lane. Kendra, have to shut the music on.
Gaming. Reset it one more time.
Okay, Chad Duel on lane 14, working on a spare. Starting the 7th frame. Gets his ball out in the lane, comes back, and leaves a solid 8-pin. So after 6 completed frames, Chris Stocker has 103, Chad Duel at 99. So Chris has picked up 4 pins, but he still trails by 17. As Chad will pick up his spare. And I'll bring up Chris Stocker in lane 13 for his 7th frame. Chris pulls his ball to the left again, getting 9 pins, leaving the 6-pin. Chris Stocker going after his 6-pin, he'll cover it. So they both spared in the 7th frame. Chris Stocker will be up on lane 14 for the 8th frame, still trailing by 17 pins. Chris Stocker on lane 14 puts his ball in the pocket and he gets a strike. So I'll bring up Chad Duel on lane 13. working on a spare. Up by 17 pins. And he pulls it across, crosses over to the Brooklyn side and leaving the 5 pin. So Chris Stocker's picked up one more pin. He's now down 16 pins. And he goes after his 5 pin and he will pick it up. So he spares here in the 8th frame. As he'll go over on lane 14 to start the 9th frame. Again, we had 28 bowlers bowl this year. It's only open to Ross's Point Men's Bowling Association members. As Chad throws his ball and he leaves the 2, 5, 8, getting a 7-pin count. Again, we had 28 bowlers bowl this year. Unfortunately, we missed a couple bowlers as John Roberts is downstate with his daughter Cassie, as Chad gets 2 of the 3 pins. So he's got 144 after 9 frames, and this is almost a dead even game. Again, we're missing John Roberts this year as Cassie is bowling in a scholarship tournament downstate in Syracuse tomorrow morning. As Chris Stocker working on a strike. Leaves a solid 10-pin. So he'll go after his spare here in the 9th frame. Okay, and Chris will pick up his 10-pin. So after 8 completed frames, Chris Stocker's down 13 pins. He has spared in the 9th frame. Chad has opened the 9th frame. Okay. So Chris Stocker is trying to get as many pins as he can here in the 10th frame. As Chris will cross over, leaving the 9-10 baby split. So now Chris is going to have to make this most likely to at least force Chad to mark in the 10th frame. As Chris goes after his spare, getting 1 pin, so he shoots 170. So all Chad has to do is get 6 pins and 2 balls. 5 pins will tie, 6 will win, and then he'll move on to face Tony Patry. And that will do it. That's all he needed. He gets 9 pins, so he'll just finish out.
Chad in the toaster.
Again, the next match you'll see is Vinnie Jarvis and Lee Guerin. They qualified 2 and 3. As Chad will go after his spare and he'll pick it up, so he'll get 1 more fill ball.
Chris. Good bowling today, buddy. Yeah. Throw your last ball.
As Chad just finishes it up and he gets a strike. So he finishes with 164. Chris Stocker ends up with 170. Again, we'll be right back with a match between Vinnie Jarvis and Lee Garren. Vinnie Jarvis will start the game, and he starts off putting it right on the head pin, leaving the 6-10 spare. Again, Vinnie qualified 2. He is elected to start first and finish last. And Lee Garren qualified 3rd. As Vinnie Jarvis will get 17 pins from Lee Garren. As Vinnie will go after a spare. And Vinnie will pick it up. Okay, Vinnie Jarvis has a 159 average, so he gets 45 pins of handicap. Lee Guerin has a 178 average, so he gets 28 pins of handicap. So that's why Lee is giving Vinnie 17 pins. Lee Guerin on lane 13. Gets his ball out there, it comes in, and he strikes. Okay, Lee Guerin on lane 14, working on a strike in his first frame. And puts his ball out there, comes in, and he mixes them to get a strike, so he's got a double. I'll bring up Vinnie Jarvis on lane 13. Again, we'd like to thank Calvin Cast Iron Hometown Cable for taking time out of their busy schedule to come and videotape the finals of the King of the Hill. Vinnie Jarvis working on a spare. He gets his ball out on lane 13. He comes back in and leaves a solid 10 pin. Vinnie bowls in the Monday night Wyeth Men's League. And Lee Guerin bowls Wednesday night. I think the name of the league is the Border Mixed. Hope I got that right. So Vinnie will go after his 10 pin. And he picks it up. So Vinnie starts off with a couple spares. And he'll go up on lane 14. Okay, this year at the Bowl Mart, I know Calvin has been here with the high school kids. We've had 3 300s this year by James Agony, Jason Friend, and John Roberts. As Vinnie on lane 14, working on a spare, he strikes. So Vinnie's got 39 after 2 frames. Lee Guerin will start his third frame on lane 13, working on a double. Lee gets his ball out, comes back in, and he leaves a solid 9 pin.
Quiet! You have bowlers in a tournament. Please be quiet!
Lee Guerin will go after his spare. All he has to do here is just throw his normal strike ball, and the ball will come get the 9 pin. So he gets his spare. So he's got 49 after 2. Vinnie Jarvis has 39 after 2. So he's picked up 10 pins. So Vinnie Jarvis has an 8-pin lead. They're both working on spares in the third. As Lee will be up on 14 to start his 4th frame. Lee puts his ball out, hooks into the pocket, and he leaves a solid 7 pin. As Lee misses his 7 pin, so he gets 9 for the frame. He's got 77 after 4. As Vinnie will come up in his 4th frame, working on a strike. Puts his ball out there. And it hooks in, and he doubles up. So a big double for Vinnie Jarvis as he takes the lead. As he'll be up and now on lane 14, working on a double. Vinnie, lane 14 comes in a little heavy, leaving the 6-10 spare. He's already picked this up once on this lane. Vinnie will go after his spare. He's got to cover. He's got to put the ball to the right side of the 6 pin. And it looks like he's done that. Yes. Good spare for Vinnie. So after 4 completed frames, Vinnie Jarvis has an 87. Lee Guerin has 77. So Vinnie's up 10 pins, plus he's getting 18 pins for his handicap, so he's up 28 pins. Lee Guerin on and open on lane 13, starting the 5th frame. As Lee puts his ball in the pocket and he carries his 7-pin. Okay, Lee just had to correct the scoring as it only gave him 9 pins, so they corrected it and given him a strike. So now he's up on lane 14. And he leaves a pocket 7-9. Mark. As Lee will go after his split. And he gets 1 of the 2, so he gets 9 for the frame. So he now has a 105 after 6 frames. Vinnie Jarvis will be up on lane 13, working on a spare. Vinnie puts his ball in the pocket, leaving a solid 10-pin. The winner of this automatically moves into the finals. The next match you're going to see after this one will be between Tony Patry and Chad Duel. Vinnie will go after his 10-pin, and he picks it up. So Vinnie will increase his lead on Lee depending on what he does here in the 7th frame. Vinnie on lane 14 gets a strike. So he has 126 after 6. Lee Guerin has 105 after 6. So Vinnie's up 21 pins scratch. He's up 39 pins with his handicap. 38 pins with his handicap, excuse me. Lee Guerin on lane 13 hooks his ball into the pocket, leaves the 6-pin. As Lee Guerin shoots his spare, crosses it over and gets his spare. So he gets a mark in the 7th frame. Yes, he'll be up now on lane 14 to start his 8th frame. Lee puts it down, puts it in the pocket, and gets the strike. So he needed that as he was trailing. So I'll bring up Vinnie on lane 13, working on a strike with a 38-pin lead. Vinnie gets his ball out in the lane, comes back in, and he doubles up. So now he's up 48 pins. As he'll go into his 9th frame, as all Vinnie pretty much has to do is stay clean, and he'll win this match. A strike here would just about put it out of reach. And he puts his ball down, puts it in the pocket, and he gets a triple. Best Lee Guerin can do is 215. So that means Vinnie Jarvis would have to bowl 199 to beat him. And he's already got 186 if he would to throw 2 gutter balls. So all he has to do is keep the ball on the lane. As Lee Guerin gets 8 pins on his first ball, leaving the 6-10. And Vinnie Jarvis will move on to the finals to bowl against either Chad Duel or Tony Patry, as he cannot lose this match. As Lee will pick up his spare in the 9th frame. So now he'll go over to lane 14 to finish out his game. Lee Garren will finish out his game here. And puts his first ball, getting 8 pins, leaving the 6-10. As he will finish in a tie for 3rd. So Lee Garren will receive $80 for bowling today.
Vinnie, you can bowl now. You can go ahead.
As Lee picks up his spare, so he'll have 1 more ball left, as Vinnie's just going to bowl out here, as he has already won this match, just to save a little bit of time. Vinnie puts his ball down, comes up a little high, leaves the 4-pin. Lee Garren pulls it across, getting 8 pins, bowls 181. Vinnie will get his spare, so he'll get 1 more ball. As Vinnie, with a strike here in his last ball, will shoot 225. Vinnie just finishing up his game here. Puts it in the pocket, gets a strike for a game of 225. So with his handicap, he actually had 243. So he beats Lee Garren by 62 pins. The next match up will be between Chad Duel and Tony Patry. Okay, we're ready to start semifinal number 2 between Tony Patry and Chad Duel. Tony, the top qualifier, will start, and he puts his ball in the pocket. He leaves the 5-10 split. Tony Patry has an average of 164. He gets 41 pins of handicap. Of course, Chad Duel has 153. He gets 51 pins of handicap. So Tony is giving Chad 10 pins. As Tony goes after his spare, he'll get 1 of the 2. So he gets 9 for the frame.
Tony, yeah.
Tony.
Where is she? Who talked to Lord? Who's my Lord?
Chad Duel will start his game on lane 14, gets the ball out, comes back in, and he gets a strike. So now he'll be up on lane 13. Again, you're watching the 2003-2004 King of the Hill here at the Bowl Mart, April 30th, 2004. Ladies Queen of the Hill will be May 14th. As Chad Duel puts his ball in the pocket, leaves a solid 10-pin. Chad goes after his 10-pin and hooks it across, so he gets 9 for the frame. He's got 28 after 2. Tony will be up on lane 14, working on an open. Tony gets the ball out, lost his balance a little bit. So he leaves the picket fence, the 1-2-4-7. As Tony picks up his spare. Just to go through some of the bowlers here this year. Chris Ferguson had a 198 average. Mike Guyette had a 170 average. Chris Stocker, of course, had 176. As Tony on 13. Crosses over, gets a strike. Alan Hall had a 161 average. Nate Roberts had a 181. Of course, Tony Pacha, you're seeing now, is up 164. James Boagany had 187, and he had one of the 300s here this year. As Chad Duel on lane 14, working on an open, gets a strike. Craig Young had a 189 average. John Winnick, 204. Mark Agony, 189. Tony Jarvis, 170. Lee Guerin, who we just saw in the last match, has a 178. Chad Duel is up right now on 13, has a 153 average. And he comes in a little heavy, but carries them both. So he throws a double. Vinnie Jarvis, who you'll see in the finals, has a 159 average. Dave Carter with a 160 average. It's Tony Patry working on a strike. Comes in a little light, leaving 5 pins, leaving the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Chris Brown, 174. Homer Bushy with a 153. John Lucia, 199. Jim Davison, 195. Tyler Davison, 169. As Tony will go for a spare. Hooks it in, getting 4 of the 5, so he gets 9 for the frame. And he has 57 after 4. Just finishing out with the bowlers, Ed Chambers had a 182. Larry Friend, 187. Chris Burnell, 150. Tony on lane 13 leaves a solid 10 pin. And Jeremy Winters, 180. Chris Winters, 124. Jamie Sterling, 184. Chris Welch with 216. And Joe Hack, 187. Those were all the bowlers that bowled here tonight. So Tony goes after his 10 pin, and it falls in the channel, so he gets 9 for the frame. So Chad will be up on lane 14, working on a double with a commanding lead in this match. Chad gets the ball out, comes in a little light, leaving the 8 pin. So they're tied after 3 frames. Excuse me, Chad has a lead over Tony by about 20 pins. And now with that spare, just calculating here in my head, as Chad has about a 40 pin lead. As he gets the ball out, comes in a little light, and he gets a strike. So he's got 97 after 5. Tony has 66 after 5. That's 31 pins, plus the 10 pins Tony has to give Chad. So it's 41 pins. As Tony needs to get some strikes here, and he gets one right there. So he'll go over into lane 13 for the 7th frame. As Tony puts one in the pocket and doubles up. So a big double for Tony Patry, as he needed that to get back into this game. He's down 21 pins. Chad Duel on lane 14 leaves a wiggling 2 pin. Chad will go after his spare to fill the frame, and he just picks up the 2-pin. So now he'll move over to lane 13 for his 8th frame, as he now has a 31-pin lead. But again, Tony is working on a double with a chance to cut into that. Tony pulls his ball, or excuse me, Chad pulls his ball across the lane and gets 9 pins, leaving the 3-pin. Chad wants to pick up his spare here, keep the pressure on Tony, and he misses it to the right. That gives him 145 after 8. Now Tony can get right back into this match. Puts his ball down, comes into the pocket, and he leaves a solid 10-pin. So with a spare here, Tony will be down about 20 pins. And he just misses his 10-pin. So now after 8 completed frames for both bowlers, it's 145 for Chad Duel, 123 for Tony Patry. And Chad is getting 10 pins on top of that. So it is a 32-pin lead with 2 frames to go.
There it is.
As Tony up here, gets a strike. Needed that. And now Chad Duel will be up on lane 14 with a chance to shut out Tony Patry. The best Tony can do is 183, which means Chad has to shoot 173, and there's a strike. All Chad Duel has to do is get a mark. If he marks this frame, he will shut out Tony. Anything else, and Tony has a shot. As Chad puts his ball down and gets a strike, so that'll shut out Tony. As Chad will move on to the finals against Vinnie Jarvis. As Tony is just finishing out here, as he cannot win this match, as he strikes on 14. Tony will receive $80. As Chad gets 9 pins.
Hey, where you going?
As Tony leaves a solid 10 pin. He left a couple of lows this game. As Chad will finish up here. And he'll shoot 194. So with the 10 pins added on, he'll get 204. Best Tony can do is 172. And Tony finishes with an open, so he finishes 171. So Chad Duel will move on to the finals against Vinnie Jarvis. As we're ready for the final match of the day, here the King of the Hill. Vinnie Jarvis is elected to finish last, so he starts. Puts the ball out, comes in, coming a little high, leaves a 4-7. Vinnie got here by defeating Guerin. And he has given Chad Duel 6 pins. As Chad has 51 pins of handicap, Vinnie has 45 pins of handicap. So Vinnie starts off and gets a spare. So Chad will be up on lane 13 for his first frame. Again, we'd like to thank Calvin Castine for taking time out of his busy schedule to come and videotape this for you here today. Chad comes in a little heavy, leaving the 4-7-10. So he has to get his ball to the left side of the 4-pin and have the 4-pin slide into the 10. As he just goes for the 2 pins, so he gets 9 for the frame. So already after one frame, this is pretty much an even game. As Chad will be up on lane 14. And gets it down, trips the 4-pin with a little heavy hit. So he strikes in the second frame. Vinnie Jarvis working on a spare. His ball in the pocket. A little light, leaving the 5-10 split. Vinnie has to put his ball on the left side of the 5-pin, hoping the 5-pin slides into the 10. Vinnie will just misses it. So he gets 9 for the frame. He's got 27 after 2. It is still an even match. Now Vinnie will be up on lane 14 to start his third frame. As Vinnie puts it in the pocket and at least tripped out the 7-pin, so he's only got the 5-pin left. A lot of people here rooting for Vinnie, as this will be his 6th game of the evening, and Vinnie is one of the elder statesmen of our association. So it's always good to see him do well. Vinnie goes after his spare, and he'll pick it up. So Chad Duel will be up on lane 13, working on a strike. And Chad doubles. With that strike, Chad has taken a slight lead in this match. On lane 14, working on a double, and he throws a triple. So Chad Duel has opened up roughly a 30-pin lead with his triple. Vinnie working on a spare, crosses over, leaves a 6-10. Vinnie will try to shoot a spare. Looks like he lost it in the channel, so he gets 8 for the frame. As now he'll be up on lane 14. As he's on an open, desperately needing a mark here. And he leaves double pinochle, the 4, 6, 7, 10.
Hey, you pick this up, you still get a pass, ain't you? Speed up.
This is the second toughest split to pick up in bowling. The first, of course, being the 7-10 split. As Vinnie gets 2 of the 4 pins, so he has 61 after 5 frames. As Vinnie is struggling a little bit this game. Chad Duel on lane 13 working on a triple. And puts it in the pocket, and he throws 4 in a row. Chad on 4 in a row, puts another one in the pocket, and he gets 5 in a row. So he's pretty much run away with this one already. As Vinnie will desperately need some strikes. As Vinnie puts his ball down, gets it a little heavy in the pocket, leaves the 6-10. And it looks like Chad is going to win this, unless he completely falls apart. As Vinnie picks up his spare. He'll move over to lane 14 for his 7th frame. Vinnie Jarvis on lane 14 comes up heavy again, leaves a 4-7-9. Vinnie just can't get anything going here, as it looks like he will finish 2nd, and he'll get $150. Chad Duel will most likely finish 1st here. As Vinnie goes after his spare, he'll get 2 of the 3 pins, getting 9 for the frame at 87 after 7. Chad Duel on 5 in a row. On lane 13, gets his ball out. Doesn't quite get back to hit the head pin, gets 6 pins, leaving the 1, 2, 4, 8. So Chad right now has with his spare here, and he gets his spare. So right now, roughly after 7 frames, Chad Duel has a 78-pin lead. As he's up, and he gets another strike. So that pretty much clinches it, as Chad Duel will be the 2003-2004 King of the Hill champion and receive $200. Vinnie Jarvis will finish 2nd as runner-up and will receive $150. Vinnie leaves a solid 10-pin. Vinnie will go after his 10-pin and he'll pick it up. As Vinnie will bowl his 9th frame. And comes up a little heavy in the pocket again, leaving the 3-pin. Oh, Vinnie going after his 3-pin, and he misses it to the right. Vinnie. Once Chad bowls his frame, you can bowl on 13, okay? Chad Duel on lane 13. Comes up a little heavy and leaves a 6-pin, as he will be this year's champion. As Chad misses his spare, so he's got 193 after 9 frames. Then he has 115 after 9, as they're now just going to finish out both of them. As Vinnie again will finish 2nd and Chad will finish 1st. As Vinnie gets a strike. Finally got one in the 10th frame, and Chad will be up on 14. And he leaves the bucket, the 2, 4, 5, 8. As Chad gets 2 of the 4 pins, so he gets a 201. And Vinnie will throw his second ball in the 10th frame. And he leaves the 3, 6, 10. Again, Vinnie will finish up here. He will receive $150. Chad Duel will be the king of the hill this year and receive $200. And we'd like to thank Calvin Castine for bringing this to you tonight. As Vinnie will finish up with 134. Again, thank you, Calvin, for coming and videotaping, and we'll hopefully see you again next year. Okay, just in conclusion here of the 2003-2004 King of the Hill with a presentation of the money. For second place, the runner-up to Vinnie Jarvis, $150. Congratulations, Vinnie.
Thank you.
And this year's champion and received $200 goes to Chad Duel. Congratulations, Chad.
Thank you.
And again, we'd like to thank Calvin Castine and Hometown Cable. Hope to see him back here next year, and we hope to have as many bowlers as we have.